Hey Ponderers, it's Ty Warner here. You see me in the suit, you see me doing the introduction. The reason I'm doing this is because I think modeling is extremely serious and it's very personalized and it's niche, but the thing is I want to help everyone. I will not be selling any courses. I won't be trying to tell you to join my Discord unless you want to play video games with me and like talk and chit chat and have fun or learn some shit. Then yeah, you can join the Discord, but at the end of the day, I'm not selling this shit. I'm not doing anything I don't need the money for this. I just want to help people out. I've been doing this for 7 to 8 years. I've helped a lot of friends get into modeling. Now, not every friend can model. Not every person can model. Everybody has their own personalized thing. Like for an example, I went to school with a gentleman and he's huge. He's 6'5", 280, giant, killer, like he's awesome. But the thing is for modeling, that's like, you know what I mean? You can't do high fashion if you're 6'6", 200 pounds, 280 pounds, you know what I mean? So on LA Models, in LA, they have like a division for bigger guys, especially athletes. So there's always a niche, there's always something you can do in modeling. That's where influencing comes in too. Because everybody who does influencing, you don't even need to be a model. You can just influence. You can have an influence and they'll book you for modeling gigs. You know what I mean? Example, the guy who cooks on The Bear. Great guy, great actor, awesome, and he's attractive, don't get me wrong. But he's not a high fashion model. But he's done shoots with Gucci and high fashion brands. Why? Not because he's an influencer, but because he has influence. He's a big time actor, he's awesome. Long story short, let's get down to it. There's 4 major categories that I came up with. Honestly, I think there's way more, but I'm a yapaholic and I think this will take way too long. I'll go through all of it as time goes on and more videos and stuff. But the top 4 things I got today that I wanted to go over are why. Why do you want to model? 2, where. Once you know why you want to model, you got to know where you're going to model. 3, once you know where you're going to model and why you're going to do it, you got to get signed. You don't have to, highly recommend it. And then the last thing is being signed versus being an influencer and doing both. Doing both is the best you can do because you should absolutely maximize the most you can do in this life. I would love to do influencer stuff, and I do influencer stuff. Like I've done some Synergy Kombucha. It's good stuff. It's just, as you can tell, I'm not the best content creator. I put a camera on and I'm honest, straightforward, straight to the point. Okay, let's start with why. Why do you want to model? It's such a serious question, truthfully, because this industry can be extraordinarily shisty. It's tough, it's unforgiving, and you'll be told no so many times. The amount of self-love you have to have for yourself, honestly, and others, is pretty high because you're a product. You're being judged for who you are and what you look like, genuinely. And most of the time they don't care about you. Nobody cares. Like you just gotta get out there and do it. You know what I mean? But as for the why you want to model, just to make a quick story, I came out here when I was 17 in LA to pursue modeling instead of wrestling in college. And the first 3 years, from 2017 to 2020, I was absolutely lost. Yes, I was in Miami, New York, LA, Milan, Paris. I traveled and did fashion weeks and did things, but I was lost. I had no idea what I was doing, and I was getting lucky because I was booking based on the fact that I was a good model. My look wasn't there yet, but I knew how to model. I knew how to move. I knew my positions and my angles because I practiced them. I also looked up to bigger models, and they taught me how to do it. It took me years to know why I wanted to model, and once I knew why I wanted to model, my modeling started going up. You have to know why you want to do it because the why will push you forward in times where shit gets stressful because there are evil agents out here. I've had an evil agent. Evil, evil, evil. It's long gone. It's in the past now. He's in jail for doing bad shit. But we can talk about that another time. Know your why and why you want to do it. 2, now you know why you want to do it. Where? Where to start? Where you model depends on everything. If you're in America, New York, LA, Miami, those are the 3 markets. Yes, Nike shoots in Chicago and in LA, but the thing is your agencies will send you there. Like in LA, I got to do a job in Louisiana. I did a campaign for Dita Eyewear in Louisiana, but that was booked in LA. And so the company flew me out, put me in a hotel. I did 3 days of campaigns and shoots and then just hung out afterwards. And then I went home. And it was a great job. And you learn so much when you do these campaigns. So the where is very important. The difference between New York, Miami, and LA, very quickly. Miami, just to be straightforward, it's usually like muscle, BBL, like just like a bit more showy, you know, all the fashion, like the swim week, it's not even like fashion week, they have fashion week, but it's like swim week, you know what I mean? Like you're big, you're buff, they have the OnlyFans show down there, like what the fuck, you know? It's like more, the coolest show that I think that they have down there is Harley Davidson. Harley Davidson is one of these shows I want to do in Miami. Harley Davidson, and they had a Dior show there a while ago, but Harley Davidson is cool. Like Miami's, you know, it's more like Miami. Los Angeles, much more commercial than high fashion, but they have both. The thing is, in LA, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. You have to network. You have to network. The first 3 years here, dude, I was socially inept. I could not talk to people, and I had older brother models that helped me talk to people, helped me get to know people, how to talk to girls, how to talk to clients. It was hard for me. I grew up as a hardcore gamer and wrestler. All I knew was wrestling and gaming. All I knew. It's kind of all I still kind of know. But at the end of the day, through 7 years of doing modeling, that helped me understand that. New York. New York's a lot more high fashion than commercial, but it has both. The New York Fashion Week is legit. That's where you'll have, not the only place in America, but that's where you'll be put on big time, is New York. LA does have Fashion Week, LA Fashion Week. It's getting bigger. They had Ed Hardy and a bunch of other awesome ones in LA. LA's getting up there. It's doing well for Fashion Week. But it's just who knows you in LA. I've done major shows, and still I don't even get the casting sometimes for these runway shows. Know your location and where you want to start. You can be back and forth between all these locations. You can. But you have, like I was back and forth East Coast and West Coast, and I rarely went to Florida because I'm skinnier. I'm not a bodybuilder. So Miami was kind of out of the mix for me, even though there is commercial stuff down there. Like I shot for Express Men in Miami. So there are things that you can do to, you know, make your market bigger. But select a market that you want to stay in. You know what I mean? And when it comes to fashion weeks, you know, you can still do them, but you got to be kind of young to do those overseas. Fashion week is hell. Honestly, I should make another video about Fashion Week, so we'll get into that later. Know your location, why you want to start, and then know where you're going to model. Know where you want to model. 3, now that you have a location and why you want to model, you got to get signed. Honestly, you can do freelance stuff, and if you're nailing it without having the middlemen, agencies are middlemen. You know what I mean? Like famous people, they have it like they're not middlemen, but you know what I mean. Like if the clients could just reach out to us and then we model strictly through them, that'd be awesome. But that's not how modeling works at all. At all. You know what I mean? There's always agents and there's always people that help you. You know, I love my agencies and I love everything they've done for me. Maybe middleman was not the right word and wasn't very kind, but at the end of the day, they connect you. They do everything for you, agencies. So I would really recommend getting signed. They protect you, they help you, and you know, it can be really tough without an agency, genuinely. It was really tough with an agency for the first 3 years for me. So you have to get signed. And I'm gonna tell you how to get signed. All right. Agencies, they do open calls and they also take meetings when mother agents, a mother agent is a manager that manages you and sends you to different places. So my mother agent, the one that was bad, that's literally in jail, the one that was bad, he met me in Miami, he sent me to New York and LA. He set up a meeting with me with LA models. So I didn't have to go to an open call. I just showed up at 11 a.m. one day. They knew I was showing up. I showed them my portfolio and then they decided on it. I know that was very quick, but I'm gonna get into it. When you're going to meet an agency, let's say you have a meeting set up or you're going to an open call, the amount of work you've done matters. It's so hard because even if you've never modeled, they're still gonna expect you to have work or modeling shots done. You know what I mean? You have to have a portrait and a portfolio, honestly. You know what, stay here. Back in the day, they used to make modeling portfolio books. And I didn't have one when I first went to my first agency. The reason that I got signed was because my manager, he shot looks for me. He did like 4 or 5 different looks for me in a suit, you know, in a swimsuit, athletic stuff, you know, very professional and then very commercial. We basically got 5 to 6 brilliant looks, got it in a portfolio, and then we presented it to them saying, hey, this is Ty Warner, this is what he can do. So if you have an agency meeting or you're going to an open call, have a portfolio, know why you want to model, know what brands you want to model for. Ask questions, ask them, tell them, hey, this is what I want to do. This is what I want for myself in my modeling career. The more engaged you are, the more it shows like, damn, this kid wants it. You know what I mean? If you just show up and you're like, yeah, I want to model because my dad said I could, you know what I mean? Like, they see the nonchalant and they don't give a fuck. Most of the time they don't care just because they don't care. But if they see that in you, you'll build a good relationship. Now, if you don't have a manager, if you don't know where the open calls are and you're like, fuck dude, I don't even know how to get an agency meeting. I don't even know what to do. Know the location. If you're in Miami, New York, LA, look up the modeling agencies in that area. Look at the board. Look to see where you would fit in more. Like if I knew you personally, I could tell you where you should go, what you should do, what kind of modeling you could do, how to keep expanding. If this was personal one-on-one, I promise I could help you out. I'm not going to do coaching. If you have a question, you DM me on Instagram and I'll get to you. I don't have a lot of followers. I'll talk to you, man. I'll help you out. I'm telling you, I know what I'm doing with this kind of stuff. Like I said, if this is personalized, I could help you, push you like, hey, okay, I like your look. You should go to Photogenics in LA because they have a lot of high fashion and they have some commercial. You do very well over there kind of stuff. But because this is generalized towards everyone that wants to start modeling, you have to know what your look is and what you're getting into. You know what I mean? Like what kind of modeling you'd like to do and where you're at. Go to their website and go to their Instagram and see when they're doing open calls. Find out who their agents are and email them. Say, hey, you can also, this works as well too. Get your portfolio set up. Have at least a few images. Get a friend that can shoot you with a nice camera or talk to a photographer and collaborate. You know what I mean? Do something. If you got the money, you can pay for a shoot. I've paid for very, very few shoots in my life. But that's because I'm very fortunate to have built a big network of people that I can work with. You have to put yourself out there and you have to go for it. Quick story. This is about acting, which is even crazier and harder to get into than modeling. One of my close friends, his name's Mitchell. I'll give you his name. He got signed to one of the biggest acting agencies because he went in there without a meeting, went to the top floor where the president was, walked in there with a fake Australian accent and told him that he's already a working actor. Has never worked before, but said that he had 2 movies coming out. They're in like Canada or something like that. And the guy believed him. Totally took the meeting with them and signed him on the fucking spot. And now he does amazing acting stuff, even though he's never done anything. It's because he went in there and wanted it. Now that will not work often. I've done that before and they were like, who the fuck are you? Get out of here. So it doesn't work all the time. But know that if you want it, you'll achieve it. And I know it's easier said than done. But I mean, like, take it from me. I've gotten to open calls and I've gotten signed on the spot in open calls. I've also been turned away. I've been told no infinitely. I've been saying, you're too ugly, you're too pretty, you're this or that, you're not cool enough, you're not strong enough, you're not skinny enough, you're not this and that. All I've been told is what I'm not. But you got to know who you are inside and not let any of that, affect you. Another thing too is if you can model on the side and you have a real career, that's great. You know what I mean? Because then modeling won't be your biggest pressure and your biggest thing to become an amazing model. But this is what I do. I don't have I didn't go to college. You know what I mean? I don't have to survive. I've done model bartending and catering for 7 years. Forever. It pays my bills when the modeling wasn't paying well, and it's a side hustle I have. I'll make another separate video on how to survive as a model if you don't have another, side hustle, because I've met a lot of models out here, dude, that have nothing on couches that needed help. And they all started working with model catering, and now they have their bills paid. And you just got to have a hustle out here if you don't have a real job. Getting signed is tough. I can get into that more. I'm not really a content creator, so I'm trying to do my best and explain it as well as I can, especially since it's generalized information, and I could do better if it was more one-on-one. So if you have questions, please message me on Instagram, because I don't use TikTok like that. Last but not least, and there's way more stuff, so I'll make way more videos in the future. Last but not least, now that you know why you want to model, where you want to start modeling, and getting signed, you know what I mean? Let's talk about the difference between a signed model, an influencer, and why you should do both. Influencers do not need an agency. They don't. They have all their publicity and clients already know them. They see them. They have influencers have thousands and hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram or whatever their platform is. People see them. They have the views. They don't need an agency. Now, would having an agency help? Yeah. Because if you're an influencer and a big model, dude, people love signed models. And they love the fact that you're an influencer. Just maximize as much stuff as you can get. The major difference between them is that influencers, because they have such a big following, companies want to work with them. And they'll hire an influencer rather than a model. But the thing about that is that when they hire an influencer, the influencer usually has their own vision. They make the content for the client. Example, if PacSun reached out to me to do influencer stuff for them, you'll see me doing get ready with me to make a PacSun outfit, or I'll make a shoot with my own buddy. When you're a signed model, they'll fly you out. They'll put you in a hotel and they'll have you come to a location with a photographer and shoot, and you'll get paid more as a signed model. So if you do both, you get everything. But another difference between a signed model and an influencer is a signed model knows how to model. They have the angles, they know what they're doing. The reason that I would book a job over an influencer, would be because I know how to model. I know my angles. I'm an incredible model. That's why with like Johnny Depp, when he does the fragrance stuff, he's a great looking guy and he can do it, but he's not a model. He's an actor. And they got good shots, but if you put me out there for an hour, we'd get double the amount of shots with even more stuff to work with. I'm sure that shoot probably took 3 to 4 hours of them, catering to him and them getting the perfect 1 or 2 shots. But as a model, you give them everything because you know every angle and you know exactly how to nail it and how to do it. An influencer, they have their own vision. So if you do both, then you can thrive and honestly surpass and keep going. That's why I'm trying to be on more of my influencer stuff and help and teach and do stuff with modeling. I wish I knew more about looks maxing. I really do. But it's the lifestyle that I've lived my whole life that's gotten me to look like this. Truthfully. I've wrestled all my life. That's why I'm skinny fucker, dude. I've cut weight all my life. That's why I'm a skinny bastard. And it's hard for me to gain weight. Long story short, I'm sure there's more I can add to this, but I'm going to cut it here because, I'm a yapaholic and I don't even know how long this has been. But thank you for tuning in, and I'll have more to say, but keep pondering. And we'll get through this together, and let's fucking do this shit, all right?